So hi, welcome to Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with
GHØSTKID.
All right, some questions to say about the upcoming album, Hollywood Suicide. So congrats on that. By the way, how do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
Oh, it's great so far. I mean, like all the singles we dropped so far, the response was amazing, you know? And I mean, like if you're just writing a new record, it's always like that you really try to top the one before, you know? And yeah, I mean, it was almost like 4 years ago or something, you know? So I was a bit nervous, like by dropping new music, but it turned out pretty well. And like all the tracks, I mean, the response of the people is wonderful. So I'm glad that it turned out well.
Hell yeah. The record fucking rocks. Was listening to it this morning. FSU is easily my favorite track. It's so good.
Thank you so much. Really? It's crazy because I had some interviews and the guys haven't received the record yet, but you guys listen to it. That's great.
Yeah, listen through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh my
I can't listen to that shit anymore. It's like if you have to sing in the studio and whatever, you know, it's like 50 times this fucking track on repeat. Yeah. So it's good to keep the distance a little bit now, but it's great. Glad that you like it.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. The record is fucking immaculate, and the 3-song run of Blood, Murder, and Dahlia, it needs to be, oh my God. It's so fucking good. It's just hit after hit after hit. Amazing.
Oh, so Murder is gonna be the next single, by the way.
Great pick.
Nice.
Yeah, it's crazy because originally it was like a collaboration with Inhuman, now called Pandorum, and he's a friend of mine. So we basically like wrote this track together, and there was like this electronic EDM version which was Deathless before, and this is like the full band performance track, and I felt so in love with that track, and it's like I don't know, he's like the writing process. How he's doing it is so weird and unique, you know. And I said, okay, this track has to be on the record for sure.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Good call.
Yeah. Thank you.
So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
Yes. So the meaning behind the title is actually like it's like if you live life as an artist, you know. So there is no limit. So you always go far way beyond, you know. So you don't have a weekend, you don't have like, I don't know, Christmas or whatever, you know. If you're sick, you have to work anyway. And for me, it was like living that life. You could kind of like compare it to suicide because you really try to live your dream, you know, and you give everything for that. So there's a lot of passion involved. And the reason why I picked like Hollywood is because it kind of like symbolizes this whole being an artist thing and whatever. And, you know, you try to give your best and everything you have just to live your dream, you know. And that's the reason why I called it Hollywood Suicide, because this is what you have to do if you kind of like want to make it, you know. So I mean, it's crazy. So you work like over half a year just for 45 minutes of music, you know. How crazy is that? If it would be a regular job, you know, it would be like the worst job ever. So you really have to love that shit. And so that's the reason why I picked the title like Hollywood Suicide. Basically, so there was this guy, his name is Eli Wayne Gacy, and I met him on a festival. He's a friend of mine, and I checked out his art, and it's fucking insane, you know. I instantly fell in love with his art, and so we had like this little conversation. Okay, do you want to do the booklet, you know? And what makes it so special, what I really love about this whole thing is like, okay, here is my art, and he can add his part to that stuff, you know, and just interpret it like in a different way. And so everything in this whole booklet, and I'm pretty proud of that because everything is hand painted on a canvas. So it's like, so there were like this original paintings, and he showed me, and it was so mind blowing. So it's something special, you know. And I just sent him all the lyrics and tracks and said, yeah, just do whatever the fuck you want, you know. So just draw something how you feel it.
That's so cool. Do you have the original paintings?
Oh no, he has it. But we've been thinking about maybe I don't know, do something like a little release day or whatever, you know, and just to show that kind of art. So we already talked about that, and maybe I don't know, maybe we'll do some printings and whatever, some merch and so on, you know. So I really want to like, I don't know, give something back, because for me, art is always something you can't pay with money, you know, because he put a lot in there. And so I want to just give him the opportunity and just spread the word about his art. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Hell yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for the album?
So I would say what changed like from the debut album like over the past 4 years was like that I built some kind of consciousness like in the writing process, you know. Before that, I mean, I'm just writing music by everything that's in my mind, so I have to get it out of my system, you know. So if I feel shitty or whatever, so I try to turn it into a track, you know. So it's like just to overcome something basically, you know. And I would say like from the beginning, in the first record I did it, but I never really thought about this is the way how it works, you know. So now I can do it with a little bit more consciousness. And what I do like when it comes down to the writing process, every time I got some thoughts in my mind that are so strong, I really try to turn it into music. And usually I try to start with the vocals or have like a full vision in my mind. I just have to realize it. And sometimes it takes forever because I'm fucking lazy.
So
it's hard.
You don't put like a pen to paper, quote unquote, until you like have the song fully realized like in your mind?
It's always like that I see a little movie, you know. If I'm in a specific mood, it's like I can see colors and feelings and whatever, you know. And if I got something like a chorus in my mind, even a melody, it's like I'm pretty strong when it comes down to like voice messages or whatever, or like this voice notes, you know. And my phone is blowing up. I don't know how many I got on my phone right now, but this is what I do. Just, I don't know, put a melody in there or something, you know, save it for later. Usually that shit never happens, you know. So I can feel something, but I'm collecting a lot of ideas, you know. And just sometimes I get some words that come into my mind and just write them down. And yeah,
gotcha. Makes sense.
It depends on, yeah, but it has to be like the right setting and the right timing, just if I actually start working.
Gotcha.
Absolutely. And so while kind of putting together songs and writing, if something doesn't come to you immediately, do you find yourself digging up past issues and past problems to kind of get a song out? Or is it just kind of like, if it comes to you, it comes to you?
Sometimes it's not even my own stuff, you know. Sometimes, I mean, you stumble across something on the internet that makes you think. And so I'm making myself some notes sometimes about that, you know, but most of the time it's more like that I really have to do it because, for example, if I have some really tough times, you know, every time I'm just writing music, it gets a bit better. So I don't know. I said it in the last interview. It's more like, okay, if I have a really tough time, you know, I turn it into music, and this is like a little trophy. I can put it away and I feel better, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's like I try to imagine some stuff, or I just got this idea in my mind. For example, like this track "Sex," you know, this is like it's. I was thinking one day, maybe even if it sounds a bit weird, you know. So it's like you have a partner and this person died, but you just in your bed and keep having sex with the soul of your dead partner or whatever, you know. I don't know, but like this whole thing created like this little movie in my mind, you know. You're floating away just with the soul and whatever, but you know this person is never coming back. And it's something like with a little twist in that, like compensates some pain, compensate the pain kind of with the sexual visions and feelings and whatever, you know. And yeah, so if you describe that, you definitely can tell, okay, it's not going to be a happy song, you know. So it's probably something like, okay, it has to be a bit more light, probably not heavy, not aggressive. And then I start writing, basically.
Interesting. Okay.
Makes sense.
Interesting. So what song off this album took the longest to write, and which one is your favorite?
You mean what was the most fun to write?
Oh, which one took the longest to write, like start to finish?
Oh, the longest to write. Oh my God. That's pretty hard to tell. What took the longest to write? I guess it was okay, I have to tell you something. It's like, you know, basically most of the tracks take a long time because as soon as I lay down the idea, it's like half of the track is done and then I just push it away. Okay, it's okay. I can finish that in 20 minutes, no problem. And then it takes fucking 10 weeks or whatever, you know, because I really need to keep the focus to keep writing. And this is what I've learned as well. I have to keep on going, just at least to have, I don't know, the structure and whatever, you know. But yeah, it's like I said, it's pretty hard for me to keep the focus sometimes. And I would say my most favorite track is Heavy Rain, because that was something like I wrote it at a time where I felt like really shitty, and but it was not that specific moment, so there was something from the past that really came up as well, and I would say that was kind of like the most vulnerable song that I ever wrote, and so it was good just to really write that track. So it means a lot because it helped me like through a really tough time, and yeah, I would say Heavy Rain is the most important track on this record for me personally.
Oh yeah.
Good pick.
So how'd the track list for the album come about? Did you write the opener to be the opener, closer to be a closer, just shelf around and see what fits? What was that process like?
That just came together pretty naturally because when I've been writing the lyrics, and I'm always writing with John Morton. It's a friend of mine. He's always checking like on the grammar and so on, and just I try to explain what I wanted to tell and just ask, okay, do you have some ideas how I can say that in a different way? It's always good like to have a native speaker with you. And it's crazy because we had a walk in the forest and we talked about like this whole album thing, and he said, you know what, it's this is what I mean, like sometimes you do it subconscious, it's like this whole album is kind of like a timeline. It's about the downward spiral of a Hollywood diva. So, and we talked a lot about the topics, and it was like, okay, there is kind of like a chapter after chapter, like I said, there is a timeline. So, and Hollywood suicide is basically the beginning because the Hollywood diva at this point, she's still pure. She wants to live her dream and so on. So there's nothing bad about that except for the fact that you're going to give everything. And after that, it goes into the downward spiral. And I think Valerie is like the first time where the downward spiral is like turning around. So she accepts and realizes, okay, I'm in trouble now. She accepted like all that bullshit that comes with the fame, whatever, and she's starting to use it. So Valerie is basically about drugs, and then Blood, for example, is kind of like that, about that people are parasites, that you always have like an exchange of energy and so on, and you have to deal with a lot of things, like being an artist and just, I don't know. So, and by that it just came together like naturally, that it tells a story basically. I mean, not all of the tracks, but most of them.
Fair enough.
Okay. So did you go into the writing sessions for this record knowing that you wanted to make a concept record?
I would say it was not like fully planned. Just, I don't know, at some point this idea came into my mind. Okay, maybe it would be cool like to write like a concept album. So, but I guess from the beginning on, it was not planned.
Okay. And moving forward, I know this record isn't even out yet, so you don't even have to like go into this at all, but moving forward, is this story something you want to continue with another record?
Maybe I'm gonna do it, but I don't know yet. So
Okay.
I think it's always interesting because like Ghost Kid, I always used to say something like kind of persona, where I can express what Sebastian probably can say, and it always depends on what kind of stuff is in my mind. And it's like I start to visualize by writing tracks. So, and like Hollywood Suicide is a bit more dark, a little bit Silent Hill, whatever, and like something like that.
Yeah.
And I think I always love to reinvent myself, so I don't know what I'm going to do next, but I always love it when it has a concept. And
Absolutely.
if it tells a story, that's basically like the most important thing for me.
For sure. Sounds good. So would you be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you're creating this record?
Oh, where my headspace was when creating this record?
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of like 4 years, and I don't know what was definitely like a big game changer for me was like I've been in LA like for 4 weeks, and that really turned my whole world upside down because I've realized, okay, um, because in LA it's like people live art differently. It's more connected to the persona you want to be. So here in Germany, it's probably like, okay, yeah, I'm doing music, but you just do your thing, but it's not part of your character or like, I don't know, how can I say that? It's not part of your personality.
Yeah.
So in LA, it was like, okay, if you're an artist, that means something. It's part of your character or whatever. And I've realized, okay, so it's a lot more easy, like, to discover yourself, you know. I always used to say, okay, if I would go in Germany into a supermarket, like with a big pink fur coat or whatever, you know, the people will give me stupid looks. You know, if I'm going to do it in LA, probably people are going to say, oh, that's a nice coat, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah.
it's different. It's more open-minded in general to art. And
Mm-hmm.
so I've realized a lot of things about myself when I was there. And I think that had a huge impact, like, on this album as well. You know, just, I think, like, learn to feel a bit more. Don't be distracted by other bands and, like, I don't know, it's like all this competition thing and whatever. So I think I've learned there, okay, just listen to what's already in your mind, you know.
Yeah, block out all the noise.
Yeah.
So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should they do it in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Is it a workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
Oh, I would say just play it in your car as loud as you can while your kids are singing on the back seats, probably.
All right.
I don't know. No, it's up to you. You know, everybody prefers it differently. So I'm listening to most of the music on my AirPods because I'm used to them, you know.
Yeah.
Whatever makes the most fun, you know.
Yeah, fair enough.
Hell yeah. So this one should be super, super quick off the top of your head. I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less.
Oh, that's hard.
Yeah.
Probably dark,
Mm-hmm.
a little bit glamorous, pop sounding.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. Taylor Swift, whatever.
Taylor Swift-esque. Yeah.
Taylor Swift's alter ego.
Yeah.
So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have going through the album?
I think the biggest reward for me is, like, if I just can tell my story and talk about my feelings, you know, and people can resonate to it, you know, that's, like, the biggest compliment. And I mean, this is always, like, the goal I'd like to achieve, because it's like, if you got somebody, or if you have something you can resonate to, you know, you feel less lonely in that moment. And if you can identify yourself with the stuff somebody's doing, that's great, you know. And I wish people probably can see that and can find that in my music. Because when I was young, I was, like, the biggest Korn fan ever, you know. So it was like 4 years I've listened to Korn straight, and that was definitely something. It was part of my identity, you know. I told my mom, please buy me an Adidas jacket, you know, just to look like them, you know. And I just got posters all across my wall, and I don't know, it was crazy. So that's my goal.
Exactly.
Enough, yeah. Shout out Korn. Korn's a great fucking band.
Yeah.
I can't admit, not anymore. I'm sorry. I lost the connection after the Untouchables record.
Fair enough.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm still a big Korn fan.
Straight. Are you still?
Yeah, still.
Yeah, maybe it's gonna get better. I hope so.
Yeah,
it's like personal taste, you know. So I don't want to blame, but for me, it's not like the same stuff anymore.
That's fair. Yeah, I personally wasn't the biggest fan of their most recent one, with the squished baby on the front, the baby doll, obviously. But I wasn't a big fan of that one. It didn't hit.
Oh, you mean Issues?
Yeah.
Oh, that was great.
No,
really?
she's
Shame
talking.
on you.
Wait, is that
she's
Issues?
Talking about their most recent release, Requiem, from like
2022.
Okay, no, you mean this one?
Yeah,
because there is a doll on Issues as well.
Yeah, Issues is a great record.
That was a good one. Okay, no, the newest one. Yeah. Not a big fan of that one. So are you able to touch on any particularly challenging or standout moments from the creation of this record, positive or negative?
Actually, I don't know if there was a specific moment. Probably just with Helena Drive, because that was actually just the one and only chorus I wrote in LA, you know, and the vibe was alright, like with those two guys. It's like Dylan and Knox, you know, so it was cool, like, to sit down and just to have a different perspective when it comes down to writing music, you know. I would say that was a special moment. I would say writing Heavy Rain was super intense, you know, and Valerie as well, I would say, you know, like, I don't know, so it's hard to remember. It took a long time, but I would say those tracks kind of like happened in a special moment, you know.
Yeah,
I mean, basically like all of the tracks, you know, but it was I would say that was like the writing process was a bit more intense.
Gotcha. So for this question, I want you to picture you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Oh, damn, that's pretty hard. Like, I would say always McDonald's. If I really want to eat something, just McDonald's, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I'm not that much. So I really try to keep the focus, which is hard enough, but there is no go-to snack. I fucking love food, you know, and everything that I can get, I will eat it, you know, if I don't try to be a bit more disciplined.
Yeah. You can't really pick and choose on tour. You kind of take what you get.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
Oh, shit. If the band would be a dish, holy shit. What would it be? Oh, my God. I don't know, like a really fucking salty, watery soup of vegetables or something, because it's like we have so many different characters, you know, and everybody is like crazy by itself. It's like it's a fucking pain in the ass sometimes, you know. Even if I love all of the guys, you know, it's like everybody's complicated in its own way, you know. It's
Absolutely.
And for the last couple questions, we're going to shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh my God. I would say probably a can of cream soda, and I don't know, just give me like 20 double cheeseburgers, then I can die happily.
That's solid.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
Eventually. Yeah.
And if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
In one fictional world?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. In a fictional world?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't know. Probably Resident Evil. Raccoon City. I mean, you got the whole day. You got something to do. You know, you don't have to say a thing. It's just surviving.
I was gonna say just fighting for your life. You know, every day.
Yeah, but maybe just another place where it's a bit more sunny. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. And I've done. I've asked the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
My favorite color. You'll be surprised, but it's like, I would say petrol.
Petrol. What color is that?
It's like this kind of like greenish stuff. I would say something like smaragd. No, it's emerald. Or I don't know what it's like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Something like this greenish thing. Even if I don't wear it, you know, but that's kind of like my favorite color.
Yeah,
that's
it's a
solid.
great color.
Yeah.
So as I said, that's all the questions you have to say. Is there anything that you would like to plug?
You mean like in general, like
just
for everybody out there?
Yeah.
I said that in all the interviews. I would say stop smoking. It's not good. And if you and besides of that, just listen to the record. And I really hope you like it. If not, it's all right. Just shoot me a message anyway. You know, just tell me what you think. And just have a good day, good evening, happy weekend, whatever.
Hell yeah.
You know.
All right. Well, thank you for sound. It's been Ghost Kid, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.